Alright guys, in the vise here we got an Ahrex FW516 in size 18, and for our thread we're going to be using Semperfli 30 denier nanosilk, which is 18/0 in black. Now everybody always asks me why I don't use barbed hooks in my videos, so today we are going to use barbed hooks. So before I get started here, I'm going to take some of this Semperfli GSP wax and I'm going to just rub my thread through it. And that's going to allow me to secure this thread with fewer turns, because Semperfli is the world's strongest thread, but it can be a little bit slick, and that's alright. Now for my tail, I have this beautiful Coq de Leon feather that I have been working on here, and I am going to pull some fibers about 90 degrees to where their tips are aligned, and I'm going to grab it and pop them right off. I'm going to get our length here, and now this part is crucial. You want to make sure you're keeping it right on top of the hook to the best of your abilities. See, like it started to fall off to the side there? Can't have that. That's okay if you start on the edge a little bit. Just make sure that you are on the top when you get back where you're going there. Once you're happy with your tail, we're going to work our way back up. Now for our post, I'm using Semperfli poly yarn in tan or beige. And man, this color is sick. I love it. Now it comes out in a pretty thick piece, but we don't need all that, so we're going to have it. I'm going to pull half of that off of there. Now, crucial step to this is adding more wax. This time I'm just going to use standard wax. And I put a magnet in my wax so I can stick it to the railing on my desk. That way it's easy to grab. It's right there when I need it. Alright, now I'm going to put this at a slight angle because it's going to pull over to the top just like that. I'm going to make sure I'm centered right where I want it. And we're going to take couple little wraps here in front and behind. Now one of the things that really helps me with these is putting a dab of super glue on this thread, because as you start to wrap up that post, that super glue is going to hold everything perfectly tight for you. Get you a couple little wraps started there. You want to make sure you're keeping it straight, because if that super glue hits, you're not really going to have any time to undo whatever damages that you do with it. And it doesn't take much. And so for this tail, I'm actually going to come back a little bit further. And I'm going to pull down pretty hard so it gives them a good little splay there. Now I don't like to put my post right up on the eye. So that's why it's back just a little bit off of the eye. Going to be some Semperfli kapok dry fly dubbing here, and I'm going to be using the color light brown. And I'm here to tell you, a little bit goes a long way with this dubbing. If you're trying to make a small noodle, that is. But the good thing is, if you grab too much, this dubbing can actually be like pressed down. You can literally press it down with your finger and get it exactly how you want it. Alright, so now we got a furnace saddle feather here. And now while I'm looking at the front of this feather, I'm going to pull more fibers off of the bottom. That way when I start wrapping, there's a little bit of bare shank there, and the fibers they won't go all over the place. So I'm just gonna give this a couple little wraps here to get it going. And like I said, you know, I like to leave bare shank, but I am going to come up the post just a little bit more for this, just for funsies. Then we're going to come back down. I'm going to snip that excess off there, and then we're going to go over top of that to make sure everything is nice and secure. I'm going to grab a little bit more of this dubbing here. You can change colors right here if you want. You could use like a darker brown or whatever you wanted to do, really. Just going to grab a couple little wraps. I see that I still need a tiny little bit more there. A couple wraps. I want to get that area right there covered up. Pinch that off. And now I'm ending with the thread around but hanging on my side of the hook. Alright, and now since I left that bare stem, you can see just how easily it is to hackle this without everything going everywhere. And you know, I like to have a nice prominent hackle on these flies. I like to keep them up off of the water, out of the water rather, on top of the water. I cannot talk today, y'all. Alright, then I'm going to go ahead and snip this off. It's up to you, whatever you want to do. But I like to go ahead and snip that off. Then I am going to do a 2-turn whip finish to lock everything in. Then I'm going to add a tiny bit of super glue once more. And we're going to get that in there again. Now, that's only 4 turns, 2 and 2, but that super glue is going to definitely lock everything in. Then I'm going to pick out whatever wayward fibers. Here I only see 1 with my tweezers there. So that's it. There is your parachute fly. Very simple, very effective. Catch you in the next one.